Hi, I wanted to answer someone's question in the comments, which was, why is it a privilege when a woman lets a man enter her body? Why is it a privilege for a man to have access to sex with a woman and not vice versa? What about us men? Don't we have value? Yes, you do. It is a great privilege for a woman to be in a relationship with a man who has options. It's a great privilege for a woman to be in a relationship with a good man. That's the privilege for the man. Because your penises are not that much value. It's who is attached to the penis that is of value. And that's a big difference. And we often hear it said that women are the gatekeepers to sex and men are the gatekeepers to relationships. Feel free to disagree. But we do know that women are much more selective when it comes to sex. We know this. And therefore, when a woman accepts a man sexually, it's a great privilege to him. And we also know that men are usually the ones who are like, well, I don't want a relationship. And women are always like, don't you want to marry me? And for the guys that have options, for him to, like Joe Rogan said, it's much more difficult to get a high quality man than a high quality woman. So if you're one of those few high quality men and you want a relationship with a woman, she is greatly privileged. But in general, it's a privilege for a woman to be in a relationship with a man that she wants. And yeah, I think that's the difference. But just going back, so I'm not, and again, men are better at women. We need men. I'm not saying we don't need men. I'm just talking about the sexual part here. And I think the reason it is because our libido isn't as high. We can get pregnant. We have a bigger ick factor. We're more selective. So when we say yes, it's a privilege to you. But let's just look at some actual numbers. Because if you look at who wants sex more, it's the men. It's the men that usually want the sex more than the woman. Especially in a long-term relationship, a woman is often just giving the guy pity sex or duty sex. She's not really craving him as much as he's craving her sexually, usually. But all you have to do is look at the advertisements of your local massage with happy ending places or escorts or strippers or porn. The men are paying for it. It's not the women paying the men for access to escorts or massages or strippers. I mean, yeah, you see the Chippendales sometimes, but how often do they come around? There's not that much of a demand for men's bodies. Women are not going around going, where's this great dick? I need some dick. I'm willing to pay for it. Women don't say that. Because your dick is not that valuable. What is valuable about men is their personality, their appearance, everything, the whole package. Because when it comes to sex, most men, not all, a lot of men are not that choosy. And so I know it's a great privilege. I feel it's a great privilege. That doesn't mean all women treat it like a great privilege. Some women are not aware of the value of their vagina and they lower the value by giving it away too easily to just anyone. I had a guy, someone left a comment saying on this video I made the other day about how women should use condoms for casual sex. Until you're in a committed relationship, use a condom. And someone left a comment on there saying that on Instagram, all these women are bragging about how they do it raw. And raw is the same as no condom. They're bragging about it, like, I'm so cool, I'm so hip. And I'm kind of shocked they do not see the value. They are not aware of their value. But I think that men who are attractive, successful, and emotionally available and stable, I think they do know their value. I think they do know their value. So, yeah, it's a privilege because men want it more than women, and it's in short supply. It's not as easily given. Women are selective with who gets it. That's why it's a privilege to give it to someone. But that doesn't mean that all women treat it with honor. Some women are just very callous with it, you know. They have to realize their own value as well. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. It does not mean women are more valuable than men. That's not what I said. Now, when it comes to sex, it is a great privilege for a woman to be in a relationship with a man that she's attracted to and respects and who's good in bed. Because a lot of men are not that good in bed. But I will say that they're not good in bed, but the woman who's into them thinks he's good in bed. I've talked about this many times. I've seen some guys that were horrible in bed, but the woman was in love with him, and so she thought the sex was great. I was the same way when I got married. When I first met my ex-husband, I was so into him sexually because of how I felt about him. But after a couple years, I didn't like having sex with him anymore, and I didn't know why, but it's because he sucked in bed. And that kind of goes into the other topic I was going to talk about, which is like, some people said, oh, what about, you know, men don't need muscle tone. 70-year-old rich guy gets a 20-year-old, but does she want to fuck him? She might love bomb him, because what 20-year-old is going to be attracted to a 70-year-old? And someone said, what about Chris Christie or Donald Trump? Who is going to be attracted to that? They might be attracted to their power, but I've seen men, fat men, you know, like a couple inches of their penis is hidden in their pubic fat. And if the penis is already small, it's not really big enough to ride. And especially if they're uncircumcised, it gets pretty gross. So it gets kind of cringeworthy. I would be shocked if Chris Christie or Donald Trump are getting fucked by their wives. I would be shocked. I'm going to put money on it that they're not. Same way with the 70-year-old. He's got his arm candy and she's got her money, but there's no fucking going on. You cannot tell me they're fucking. We do know that the playmate that was Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, she says they didn't have any sex. He was kind of impotent, actually. He just liked to parade around the pretty girls. But hey, you might not care about that. You might not care about that. You got your arm candy wife who probably takes good care of you and is sweet to you. But in this channel, this is not a channel where I'm interested in being in rich men, arm candy, or anything like that. This is a channel about actual attraction, actual desire. People who actually desire each other and how we can increase that desire for each other. I just think it's pretty rare to have it in an age gap relationship for the longer term. And that goes along with, you know, the women in menopause. The more I think about it, I think that the problem is once they hit menopause, they're no longer attracted to their unattractive husbands. Because most men have really let themselves go. They've lost muscle mass. And they just lay there in bed, or they have erectile dysfunction. But they're not dominant anymore in that same way that they were when they were younger. And once the menopause hits, I think a woman wants to just be fucked by like a man with physicality. That's what I think. I think the problem is that their husbands are no longer attractive. But there's a couple easy things the guys could do, because this happened to me when I was married. I lost attraction to my ex-husband over some very minor things. I thought his glasses were ugly. I didn't think he replaced his shirts often enough, so he was no longer physically attractive to me. So I didn't want to fuck him. He was not attractive to me. And love does not equal desire. Commitment does not cause desire. Love does not cause desire. Wanting your money and being your arm candy does not cause desire. Wanting a grandpa to take care of me because I never had a daddy doesn't cause desire. Maybe, I don't know. You guys tell me. If there are any ladies in here attracted to men 20 to 40 years older and you still feel desire after a couple years, I want to hear from you. I'm just trying to figure this all out. But, I mean, I think that for these men, you definitely have to get your ass to the gym. Walking is not exercise. You've got to lift heavy weights until you're fatigued. And you have to be a little bit sore the next day. That's how you build muscle. You've got to have, you do not need a six-pack abs, and you do not need to be the Hulk. That's a myth. You need some upper body strength. You should be able to do push-ups and pull-ups. You need upper body strength. You should not have a belly. You should be able to see your penis when you look down and your feet. It doesn't have to be six-pack abs, but it should be flat. And you should have good posture, okay? So upper body strength, so you're not walking like this, okay? Groom your hair properly and groom your beard properly. And then get some clothes that are moderately tightly fitted. Get rid of, there's a guy I watch, Brett Weinstein from Dark Horse Podcast. He's a reasonably good looking guy, but he looks run down. He looks run down. He looks like an old married guy. I could whip him into a hot guy in like 2 minutes. I would just change his clothes because he wears those baggy clothes. Old. Looks like an old professor. You put him in like a little tighter shirt, button-down shirt, and he needs to do something with his hair. I could make, he would be a freaking Chad. It's very easy to do a makeover. Just go into a Nordstrom or something, get your wardrobe, hit the gym, and see if your wife wants to fuck you again. Because a lot of you guys are not fuckable. Especially once you hit over 60. Some of you guys are just too gross to fuck. Okay? That's the reality of it. And when I was an escort, I would do it, but it wasn't out of my desire. I created the desire, but I didn't go like, oh, I can't wait to see this guy again. No. So if you want a woman to desire you sexually, you've got to do some stuff. You know, a lot of you guys are the equivalent of a 500-pound woman. That gives you the ick factor too. That's why your woman doesn't want to fuck you. I do not believe it has to do with menopause. I think it has to do with her seeing the light. It's like, whoa, with these extra estrogen gone, I don't want to fuck this guy anymore. That's what I think. Because if I were married to some old guy, I wouldn't want to have sex anymore either. My libido would be gone, and I would think it was me. This is my theory, this is what I think. Because sex is about physicality. It's about our physicality. It's about primal desire. I mean, yeah. You know, my brother would always say, if I were married, my wife should have to have sex with me every day because I'm the breadwinner. And he doesn't understand, okay, yeah, you can have sex with me. I'll just lay here. I'll do you a favor while silently inside I'm hating you. That's what happens. If you force your woman to have sex with you and she doesn't want it, deep inside she's repulsed because you're the 500-pound woman to her. You're gross and disgusting. She's doing you a favor and she can't wait till it's over. That's the kind of sex a lot of guys are getting. They're getting no sex, pity sex, duty sex, and I'm going to add it, repulsion sex. I am so fucking repulsed by you, but I'm going to let you do it because I'm a good wife and I can't wait for you to get off of me. Now, so you can easily change that by changing your appearance. Don't beg for sex and be good in bed. You got to be good in bed. You got to be good in bed. And that you'll be better in bed if you're physically act strong and feel good in your body and you have upper body strength and you have core strength and you can do a little cardio. A lot of guys just lay there in bed. They're not that, or they're kind of boring in bed. But anyway, those are just some thoughts I have. The same way if you go to Asia, you get some Asian woman, is she going to want to fuck you? You're her salvation from the slums and her poverty. I mean, if she does fall in love with you, I'm not saying it's not possible, but a 25-year-old Asian woman you go to her country, you're 60, and she falls in love with you? I don't think so. I think she wants the security. I do not think she craves fucking you. This is what happens in a brand new relationship from people I've talked to. You're having sex 5 times a day because you're so turned on from each other. You want sex nonstop, and she's begging you for sex. If the woman you're with isn't begging you for sex 5 times a day, or at least twice a day in the first few months, she's not that into you. She's after your money or something, or your grandfatherly stature, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is a channel where I'm talking about desire. I'm talking about relationships based on desire. I don't care about the other relationships based on money, or I want a daddy figure. That doesn't really interest me. I'm interested in primal desire, the animalistic physicality, like what makes me desire you, and what are the factors that make a woman stop desiring a guy. Also, if you go to Asia, I don't know if a lot of guys know this, but in Asian culture, the kids take care of the parents, so the guy is a breath of fresh air to the entire family. The entire family is looking for money now from this guy. It's probably not that much, but you know, you're going to be expected to support the family. And there are scammers also, just like there are scammers here. So you just have to be aware of that. And some guys might not care that they're not getting high quality sex, because like the guy said in the comments, American women are just crap now. And I'm not going to disagree, because women over 50 look like shit. After my divorce, I went on some lesbian I was on Match.com and some other sites looking for lesbian women to explore my sexuality with and romance and so on. And 95% of them look like shit. I was looking at the age of 50 plus. And I'm like, these women are fat and dumpy. They look like the guys in their 60s, fat and dumpy. And I couldn't figure it out. But then after a while, I started looking at the women on Match.com who were looking for men, and they were looking good. And the gay men were looking good. And that's when I realized anyone who's trying to attract the attention of men looks good. But people trying to attract the attention of women don't look that good. Gay women and straight men trying to get women, they let themselves go because they're under the mistaken assumption that women are very forgiving, because women are looking for love and romance. They don't realize that if you want a woman who wants to fuck you, you better look fuckable. So that's the problem. That's why if you let yourself go, you're not going to get women that are in their primal desire. And I had a really hard time finding hot, attractive lesbians on Match.com, but I found a few, and they were in their 40s. After the 50s, most women look like shit. They really let themselves go. They get fat. And I say it in a disgusting way because it's very unhealthy. There's a lot of metabolic disease caused by that. Our bodies are not designed to process all that extra sugar and fat and to carry it around. And it shows up in excess fat in unattractive places. Like if it all went to the breast and the ass, that'd be fine, but it doesn't. It goes everywhere. And also it causes a lot of metabolic disease. Diabetes, heart disease, everything goes off. It's just not healthy. So, and I don't condone it. So I'm very against fatness. I think it's unattractive, it's unhealthy, and it's against primal desire. I do not think that, I think a few extra pounds is fine. I do not think people need to be chiseled or anything, but you know, if you're leaning towards obesity, that's not good. So those are just some additional thoughts that I have about why vaginas are more valuable than penises, because penises are not that choosy. I know some of you are like, I only have sex in relationships, that's fine, but for the majority of men, they're not that choosy, okay? And so, and if you look at the escort ads, which sometimes I do, look into any big city and see how much the women are charging for sex. hundreds of dollars per hour. And then you look for male escorts. I've done that too. There aren't any. Maybe one here or there. They usually look kind of creepy. Because women don't pay for it. Why don't women pay for it? Because they can get it. It's an excess. They all want it. And we don't want to give it to you. That's why our vaginas are more valuable. When it comes to relationships, the men are saying, I don't want it. See, even the women fucking the guys, hooking up with these guys, fucking them, these men are not giving these women a relationship, but these women want it. So it's a great privilege to be given a relationship with a man. Great privilege, especially a high quality man. A man who's stable and successful and attractive and good in bed and a good provider. Those men are rare. Less than 0.5% of the population, I'm going to say. And to find one single is extremely rare. I haven't found one in 10 years. Very rare. So those men are a prize. But anyone can be like that. By the way, did you know that the percentage of women filing for divorce, they say it's 80% if you take in all of the people. But if you look at only people with graduate degrees, it's 15%. 15%. The divorce rate is very high among uneducated people. So you can do a lot of things to improve your odds of having a healthy relationship and getting a woman. Get a graduate degree, or at least learn a trade. Get to the gym, eat well, and dress reasonably well. Go to Nordstrom's, have someone help you out. It's not a high-end store like Bloomingdale's or Saks or something. And have somebody help you out, get some hip clothing, some hip shoes. Women will notice you. I had someone tell me the other day he was in a store and these women were following him around but he said he didn't like it because they were just wearing their tights. He doesn't like to see women in tights. He likes dresses. But he had come from the office and he was wearing like a business shirt, with a collar and buttons. Oh, you go into a store like that, guys, you're going to have women chasing you. I went to the store today like this in this dress, and guys were checking me out. And it goes down to my knees. It's not even tight. A dress is very rare to see. A man in a button-down shirt is very rare to see. If you're well-groomed and fit in a button-down shirt, women are going to check you out. It's as simple as that. And then you're the prize. Then you are the prize. And if you're good in bed, you are a double prize. That's what I think. I would consider myself very fortunate. If I had a good man, I would consider myself very fortunate, and I would be on my best behavior to not lose him. But if you're just an average run-of-the-Joe replaceable guy, I probably wouldn't even want you, frankly. So that's just how it is. I think that a lot of men, this is why I make these videos, I think men actually have a lot more control over being attractive to women. You don't have to do that much. An hour a day at the gym, get some better clothes, and and then also make sure you have a job that's stable. Women like stability. They do not like men who are baggage or needy or dead weight. So that's it. And but then men are saying they don't like American women. I don't really know. The women I know are pretty modest and sweet wives, so I don't really know how all the women are. Like guys on here are saying, I do not like tattoos. But a lot of guys love women with tattoos. It's just a personal preference. Maybe the guys on my channel are guys that don't like tattoos. A lot of women nowadays have tattoos. So it's probably the older guys saying they don't like them, because when I was in high school, it was considered like only gang people got tattoos. But the world has changed. A lot of women just have a little tattoo here or there somewhere. It's pretty common. I don't have any. I am pretty sure that the women in my lineage don't have any. Maybe college-educated women have fewer. I don't really know if there's a correlation. But I've seen some beautiful tattoos on women, and some women really like that. Some men really like that. So we're all different in terms of what we like, and that's all I wanted to say on this video, and thank you for watching.